The genesis of American democracy, early elections. The United States, a beacon of democracy, boasts an electoral process steeped in history and tradition, a process that has evolved significantly over the centuries. From its nascent stages in the late 18th century, the U.S. electoral system has undergone significant transformations, reflecting the nation's evolving political landscape and the growing complexity of its governance. In the early days of the Republic, elections were a far cry from the meticulously orchestrated events we witness today, often characterized by a lack of uniformity and standardization. The Constitution, ratified in 1788, provided a basic framework but left many details to the discretion of individual states, leading to a diverse array of electoral practices. The first presidential election, held in 1789, was a testament to the nascent nature of the electoral process, with George Washington emerging as the unanimous choice. There were no primaries, no national conventions, and no popular vote tally, making the process vastly different from what we know today. Instead, state legislatures determined the method for choosing electors, who would then cast their votes for the president, a system that varied widely from state to state. George Washington, revered as the father of the nation, was unanimously elected as the first president, setting a precedent for future generations and establishing a model of leadership. However, subsequent elections witnessed the emergence of political factions and the need for a more structured system to manage the growing complexity of the political landscape. The absence of standardized procedures led to confusion and inconsistencies in the early elections, highlighting the challenges of a fledgling democracy. Each state had its own set of rules, resulting in a patchwork system that was far from uniform, with significant variations in how elections were conducted. In some states, electors were chosen by popular vote, while in others, they were appointed by the legislature, creating a diverse and often confusing electoral landscape. This lack of uniformity raised concerns about fairness and representation, highlighting the need for a more cohesive and standardized approach to elections. The early elections, though rudimentary by today's standards, laid the groundwork for the development of a more sophisticated electoral system, one that would evolve to meet the needs of a growing nation. The challenges and shortcomings of these early contests underscored the need for a standardized process that would ensure fairness, representation, and the peaceful transfer of power, principles that remain central to the American electoral system today. These early experiences would shape the evolution of the U.S. electoral process, ultimately leading to the establishment of the Electoral College, a system designed to balance the interests of different states and ensure a fair and orderly election process. The Electoral College, a cornerstone of the U.S. electoral system, was born out of intense debate and compromise during the 1787 Constitutional Convention, a pivotal moment in American history. The Founding Fathers, grappling with the question of how to elect a president, faced a fundamental dilemma. Should the president be chosen by direct popular vote or by an intermediary body? This question sparked heated arguments, revealing deep divisions among the delegates, each with their own vision for the fledgling nation. One faction, wary of mob rule and concerned about the tyranny of the majority, advocated for an indirect election system. They feared that direct popular elections would give too much power to the most populous states and marginalize the interests of smaller states, which could lead to an imbalance in representation. On the other hand, proponents of direct elections argued that it was the most democratic approach, ensuring that the president was truly accountable to the people, reflecting the will of the majority. The Electoral College emerged as a compromise solution, balancing the competing interests of large and small states, while addressing concerns about direct democracy and potential regional dominance. Under this system, each state would be allocated a number of electors equal to its representation in Congress, ensuring that both population and statehood were factored into the equation, creating a balanced approach. This system, while complex, was designed to prevent any one faction or region from dominating the presidential election, aiming for a fair and equitable process. The Electoral College, though a product of its time, continues to shape American democracy to this day, influencing the way presidents are elected. Its creation reflects the Founding Fathers' foresight in recognizing the need for a system that balanced the interests of various stakeholders, ensuring a stable government. While the Electoral College has faced its share of criticism and calls for reform, it remains an integral part of the US electoral process, a testament to the enduring legacy of the Founding Fathers' vision and their commitment to a balanced republic. The 12th Amendment, ratified in 1804, marked a pivotal moment in the evolution of the US electoral process, addressing a critical flaw exposed by the tumultuous election of 1800. Prior to this amendment, the Electoral College operated under the original constitutional framework, which stipulated that each elector cast 2 votes, with the candidate receiving the most votes becoming president and the runner-up assuming the vice presidency. This system, however, proved vulnerable to partisan maneuvering, as demonstrated by the deadlocked election of 1800. In that election, Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr, both representing the Democratic-Republican Party, received an equal number of electoral votes, throwing the election into disarray. The tie highlighted a critical flaw in the system: the potential for a president and vice president from opposing parties to be elected, creating a recipe for political gridlock. The 12th Amendment rectified this flaw by requiring electors to cast separate ballots for president and vice president. This seemingly minor change had a profound impact, ensuring that the president and vice president were elected as a unified ticket representing the same political party. The 12th Amendment, a direct response to the shortcomings exposed by the 1800 election, solidified the two-party system and streamlined the presidential election process. It stands as a testament to the adaptability of the US Constitution, demonstrating its ability to evolve and adapt to changing political realities. This amendment, though enacted over 2 centuries ago, continues to shape the dynamics of presidential elections in the United States. Section 4. The Modern Electoral College, Mechanics and Intricacies. The Electoral College, a cornerstone of the US electoral system, remains a topic of both fascination and debate, often misunderstood by even the most seasoned political observers. Its intricate mechanics, designed to balance the interests of states with varying populations, play a pivotal role in determining the outcome of presidential elections. At the heart of the Electoral College lies a simple premise: the candidate who secures a majority of electoral votes, not necessarily the popular vote, wins the presidency. This system, while seemingly straightforward, is fraught with complexities that have shaped the course of American history. Each state is allocated a number of electors equal to its combined total of senators and representatives in Congress. With 538 electors in total, a candidate must secure at least 270 electoral votes to clinch the presidency. This winner-take-all system, employed by most states, means that the candidate who wins the popular vote in a particular state generally receives all of that state's electoral votes. The Electoral College's intricate workings, though often criticized for their potential to deviate from the popular vote, reflect a deliberate attempt to balance the interests of large and small states. This system, while not without its flaws, ensures that the president must secure support from a broad geographical base, fostering a sense of national unity and preventing the tyranny of the majority. Section 5. The Road to the White House, Navigating the Election Cycle. The journey to the White House, a grueling marathon of political maneuvering and public persuasion, unfolds over a multi-stage process, culminating in the decisive Electoral College vote. This journey is not just about the candidates, but also about the voters who play a crucial role in shaping the future of the nation. This intricate dance of democracy begins with the primaries and caucuses, where voters across the nation cast their ballots to select their party's nominee. These early stages are critical as they set the tone for the rest of the election cycle. These early contests, held in states across the country, serve as a proving ground for presidential hopefuls, testing their mettle and shaping the narrative of the campaign. Candidates must demonstrate their ability to connect with voters and address their concerns effectively. As the primaries progress, delegates are awarded based on the outcome of each state's contest, gradually narrowing the field of candidates until each party emerges with its standard-bearer. This process is often filled with surprises and unexpected turns. Following the primaries, the national conventions take center stage, marking a pivotal moment in the election cycle. These conventions are not just about nominating candidates, but also about unifying the party and setting the agenda for the general election. These grand spectacles, steeped in tradition and pageantry, serve to formally nominate each party's presidential and vice presidential candidates. They also provide a platform for the party to showcase its vision and values. The conventions, broadcast to a national audience, provide a platform for candidates to articulate their vision for the country and rally support among party faithful. This is a crucial moment for candidates to make a strong impression on voters. The general election, the culmination of months of campaigning, pits the nominees of the two major parties against each other in a final showdown. This phase is marked by intense debates, campaign rallies, and a flurry of advertisements. This high-stakes contest, closely watched by the nation and the world, tests the candidates' stamina, resilience, and ability to connect with voters. Every move is scrutinized and every word is analyzed. The outcome of the general election, while not the final word, sets the stage for the Electoral College vote, the ultimate decider in the race for the presidency. This final step is a unique feature of the American electoral system, adding another layer of complexity to the process.